just don't get it till there's nothing at all. We get together, oh, we get together. The secret's always better when it's feelings involved. And if they say that nothing is forever,
Testing. Check.
what
Check.
makes
Check.
check. Love these? So why
1, 2.
are we so in denial when we know we're not happy yet?
I feel so unsure as I take your hand and lead you to the dance floor. As the music dies, something in your eyes calls to mind a silver screen and all its sad goodbyes.
Time can never mend the careless whispers of a good friend. To the heart and mind, ignorance is kind. There's no comfort in the truth. Pain is all you'll find.
Tonight the music seems so loud.
I wish that we could lose this crowd.
Maybe it's better this way. We hurt each other with the things we want to say. We could have been so good together.
We could have lived this dance forever, but now who's gonna dance with me?
Please stay. Never gonna dance. Fool.
Beautiful good morning from myself, Jane Lindley Thomas, and welcome to this very auspicious and special occasion, the official opening of Westown Square. The day is here. To all of our dignitaries and each and every one of you, it is really a joy to have you here with us today. It really does feel like just yesterday, standing on what was a construction site with Carlos and Don and Sean, and hearing your vision of what was going to be Westown and Westown Square. And look where we are. This is like a pinch yourself moment. For me, having a real heart for community and having served behind the microphone on East Coast Radio for 20 years, I must say that coming to Westown every week in and week out, and seeing community in motion has really been something to behold. To have the opportunity to speak to the people that have built the city literally from the ground up. I'm speaking to horticulturists and agriculturists and engineers and construction people, and everything's been so intentional about Westown. And I just can't tell you how excited I am that today is actually here. It fills me with such immense pride. We've got such a wonderful morning planned for you. And speaking about pride, could I ask you to all please be upstanding so we can sing our beautiful, beautiful anthem together. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, boys and girls. So obviously it's no secret that a lot goes into building the City of the West, and we always love to say it's time for the West. I think I must proclaim that a couple of times a week. We've got a really beautiful overview of what goes into building the City of the West. Here, take a look.
Fundamentum is working with various artists to bring an art program to life in Westown Square. This is part of a long-term strategy to use Westown as a canvas and really look at options for placemaking that extend across this new city of the West.
When Cora approached me, I was blown away. I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to match a very knowledgeable client with an incredible array of creative practitioners in Durban.
So when I'm involved like a project like this, I fully appreciate the amount of artisanship that goes into it. And to be a part of a development on this scale is very, very satisfying. It's just a reminder of like the immense human force that goes into development of this scale and how much it's just represented by unique individuals who have a particular craft, particular tool, particular trade. To be a part of that sort of army at that level is incredibly satisfying, you know, to play a part.
First time I've ever worked in such a huge construction site, and I think for me, what I'm most impressed with is actually how this is all happening. Like, to be the little cog in the wheel that's making this happen. It's very invigorating. I'm proud to be South African, I have to tell you, and I feel these people working together.
The way everything comes together, like with all the architecture and the entrance levels, the artists being put up around the space, and how this fits with all that to create the movement of the space.
For me, it's exciting because I'm a big picture type person, so I like to see the big picture, whether it's looking at a 3D plan, seeing everything just come together, and it's nice to be a part of that puzzle. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, and it's a really cool development that's taken place.
So the background layers have to do with the horse's hair, the middle layers have to do with the muscular structure of the horse's body, and then the top layers, that was my favorite part, because we looked at the horse's legs, we immediately sort of saw the synergy between the structures of the legs and wild style graffiti.
Yes, the idea was to have a large installation, as big as possible. We got given one wall, and I just thought, let's extend it to 3 walls. Why? Because we want something organic, like the rest of the place. You got structural element, is the building, the foundations, and then you got nature, that is very much included in that project already. So I basically wanted to carry on the narrative that the architect and the engineer have really well thought around this project. Something to take on consideration in Durban. If you don't, things don't last. So we use stainless steel, and after that, we play with light. So the light was given by the sun. We have to have an element of translucidity or transparency, and that there is a shadow created by the sun, and possibly
Westown Square. But yes, it's really an important part of placemaking for this precinct, and something we're really looking forward to bringing past Westown Square and into the next phases of our development.
And it's, you know, it's kept me this. I mean, look, I'm sweating. Yeah. I'm loving it. You know, it's just a part of my life. It's great. You know, it's been nothing but good so far.
So that was a little bit about the arts that brought Westown Square to life. You'll probably have noticed or recognized Ewok, MC and graffiti artist. Now we're going to take a look at a bit of the development from behind the scenes.
The vision of Westown is foundationally focused around the building of a platform for Outer West. And this platform is really driven on 3 pillars.
3 pillars being technology, people, and environmental sustainability. And we've evaluated the opportunity through those lenses. Westown is the new city of the West, and as we always say in a lot of our conversations, it is time for the West. So we're really focused in driving hard to bring Westown Square out of the ground, and brought together a space where people can not only just come and shop, but also have entertainment, great kids play areas, eat, and really live. Ensuring that we are providing an infrastructure which is always on, and infrastructure is of the highest quality, which is well maintained. Providing a secure environment so that when we think about our kids playing out there in the public park areas, we can feel secure that they are in a safe environment.
So initially in 2016, we bought an initial piece of land from Tonga Hewlett, and the idea was to do a regional mall.
it's not our vision, it's about having visionary partners as well who are able to journey with us. And one of those partners have obviously been the city. You know, without the city's contribution of infrastructure and the support they've given us, it would be virtually impossible. So not only from local, but from provincial and even national level, they've played a huge, huge role in enabling this project of providing bulk infrastructure. Our funding banks, ABSA, they've been able to fund us and allow us to create what today is the first phase of Westown, which is Westown Square. And we've had many, many other partners. You know, all our consultants are partners, from the architects down to every person who's worked, to Stefanuti Stocks, who've been absolutely brilliant and have dedicated to making sure that we've got a real world-class product that we're putting out there. To the communities as our partners, you know, we're very blessed that we've been able to also bring them in as equity partners in Westown Square. They've provided a lot of the labor and they continue to provide a lot of the labor post-construction. So I think without visionary partners, it's very difficult to create something like Westown.
Most importantly, to enable our people to really get ahead in life, to be able to participate economically, to be able to build their own wealth, and to live a lifestyle that they've all dreamed of in a place which will be uniquely positioned out here in the West. And this is just the start of the Westown precinct. Westown Square and the barn will obviously be the first developments, but we've got the hospital coming, multiple new residential developments coming, Park Vermeer, which is a new motor precinct that we're going to bring out the ground, and Ferrier Crossing, which is another great retail experience that we're going to bring to Westown.
We're very proud of it, and we're really happy we've reached this day here today.
What a vibe. What an absolute vibe. It is now my absolute pleasure to hand over to the program manager for the morning. Please put your hands together for Councillor Ntuli.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony, for the good job that you have done. Let me start by acknowledging Ubaba Nonkosi, Honorable Mayor of eThekwini, Inkosi Ubaba Ushozi eMangangeni, Nkosi yesizwe, Honorable Kaunda, the member of the NCOP, Mr. Mike Mabuyakhulu, the chair of the Presidential Working Group, Mr. Mbele, the city manager of eThekwini, the deputy chair of the committee, Councillor Ndlovu, councillors of the committee and councillors present, the developers, especially Carlos and your team, the business sector. Let me say all protocol observe in order to avoid if there are some that I did not acknowledge. Can see there is the former DCM of Economic Development and Planning, Mr. Stolle, Philip, the social facilitator, Babu Kabazela, Kiza. I've been giving a task, and a task that I believe I will try by all means to be as quick as possible. I'm going to call the first speaker to come and address us, the CEO of Fundamental, Mr. Carlos, to come on the stage. Can you clap hands for him to come on this side?
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I just need to adjust this a bit. I'm not as good as my partner, Sean, when I do speeches. He doesn't need notes. On Wednesday night, he spoke for about half an hour. I think he looked at notes twice. So I have to have some notes. So please bear with me. First of all, let me welcome the first citizen of the city, the Honorable Mayor Cyril Kaba. Let me also extend a warm welcome to the MEC, Sibonise Duma, who is our MEC for Transport and Human Settlements. Let me welcome Nkosi Shozi, and let me then welcome all the executive committee members who are here today, all the councillors that are here today. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to the previous mayor of our city, who is now a Member of Parliament, Kawunda. Thank you for being with us here today. I would like to extend an a warm welcome to our city manager, Mr. Musambele, who's here with us. I'd like to welcome also the Deputy Chair of ECOD, Pili Ndlovu. Of course, Program Director Tembo Ntuli as Chairperson of ECOD and member of the Executive Committee. I want to welcome a very good friend of mine, and in actual fact, the man who at the time was a MEC in the province and very well known in KZN, Mike Mabayokulu. Welcome. I'd like to also extend a warm welcome to all the board members of Fundamentum who are here today. I'd like to say good morning also again to the two partners, Sean and Donovan Bergsma. And I'd like to welcome all of you here this morning and all protocol observed. I think I deserve a hand for that, really. I want to just briefly touch on a few things. I was sharing with the mayor a belief I have, and we've been very blessed. This is the third, let's call it retail shopping experience we've brought to the city of eThekwini. And on all three occasions, it's rained. And on the previous two occasions, we've been very blessed. We see that as a blessing. We're very blessed when we opened Kwamanyandu and it rained. We're very blessed when we opened Midway Crossing, and may that blessing continue on Westown Square as it rains today. I think that is really memorable. This is a journey that started 9 years ago. On the 31st of March, as Sean articulated in the video, we signed an agreement to buy a little piece of land, 14 hectares, to develop here in Shongweni. 9 years later, I think 31st, if I look at it today, is the 27th of March, 2025. And I'd like to remind Sean and Don this. We only collect the first cent of rental on the 1st of April, and it's April Fool's Day. So let's hope the tenants start paying. But it's been a long road, 9 years. And the reason we invested here is that we are Durban residents, Mr. Mayor. We are Durban rates payers. We are Durban supporters of the city. We've always believed in eThekwini when there were those naysayers after the riots and the flooding and the challenges the city's had. The inherent challenges the city inherited as well over the years. We never left. We've always remained here. We've been always loyal to the city. And to extend the further loyalty on this is not only about Shongweni. We've also just acquired a big portion of land in Konubia to invest another few billion rand into the economy of Durban, and we will announce that in the next coming months, because I will definitely come knocking on Mr. Musambele's door for infrastructure funding. Mr. City Manager, please wait for me. I'm coming. We can't succeed without partners, and I think the city has been unbelievable. The council support across the political lines we have received, and it's so pleasing sometimes if you go to council meetings to see how the voting goes. And what was so pleasant is the first resolution that ever went through on Westown, over 200 councillors unanimously voted in favor of this development, which, if you understand politics and the dynamics of it, that is quite unique. So thank you to the city. Thank you to all the departments and officials that don't always take credit for what happens. The town planners, the engineers, the road people, ETA, the planning, the building side of things, the health department, the electricity department, everybody that we need 14 or 15 signatures before we can even put a brick in the ground. So thank you. To the ward councillors who have supported us, thank you. Thank you for being here on this journey with us. And you've been very, very influential in making sure that the site developed with no challenges, and for that we are very, very grateful. Obviously, to my friend and good friend Matula, for your input in terms of the community, all the meetings that were held previously before we even had our first sword turning ceremony. Thank you to you. So maybe to the city, to finish off, I'd like to leave you with one thought. Your initial 600 million has now brought in just over 5 billion rand of investment. We have 1.5 billion opening here today. We have 650 million of a new hospital going into ground in the next 2 months. We have the Baldwin project of 2.1 billion rand. It was launched. They've already sold 33%, and they're only officially launched today. It was launched on social media, and today they go live with the public. I think it was Mike who once reminded me that you've got to get infrastructure in place to attract investment, and he gave me the example of Dubai Tradeport, Mike, if you remember. And if you look at the success of Dubai Tradeport, it has been around the fact that infrastructure has been put in place, and we as investors come behind. You can't put the cart before the horse. So thank you to the city. I remember in 2022 signing a MOA, who at the time our city manager was just acting, and I remember saying to him, this project is going to be part of your legacy, city manager. This project, you signed the original MOA that started under the previous deputy city manager, Philip Satoli, that was acknowledged by our chairperson of ECOD, and I hope that that will be the case. We are in need of further infrastructure. I know we are talking to other spheres of government at the moment to assist, but there is a national belief in what we are doing in Durban. And I remember the previous mayor saying on many times in the media, Durban's open for business. Durban has never closed, Mayor. Durban has never been closed. It just depends how you viewed it. So thank you to the city. I wanted just to give you a few facts, Mr. Mayor, about what's gone into a project like this. We've laid, just in Westown Square, 6 million bricks. 6 million bricks have been laid in Westown Square. Paving, we've done 66,000 square meters of paving, which is 2.8 million pavers. I don't know if you know those little small things we see in the walkway. 2.8 million of pavers. We've got nearly 700,000 kilograms of structural steel in here. We have moved soil just in Westown Square, 45,000 truckloads That does not include another 1.6 million cubic meters that have been moved on the roads between the M13, over the N3 and into Westown Square. We've poured, just on the roads, over 4,000 cubic meters of concrete in this place. We've planted new shrubs and new plants. 300,000 plants and shrubs are being planted in the initial phase of Westown. We have our own nursery that started here with the local community just behind us. But that's not what excites me. I think what excites me was that yesterday alone we had 1,780 people on the site working. 1,780 people working here. We've been averaging over the last 6 months over 1,000 people a month working on the site. Full-time employment, as from today, will generate over 1,000 people. Full-time employed from the community. Those are the things that excite Sean, Don, myself, where a little bit of our socialism comes through, because we are through and through capitalists, Mr. Mayor. But at the same time, we have a social conscience. And that social conscience comes with partnering with the right people. And one of those people happens to be ABSA. And ABSA have been our funders when some of the banks around KZN were a little bit reluctant to be funding in the city. I would like to call up Mrs. Sumaya Joshua, who's the Managing Director for Commercial Property Finance, just to say a few words to all of you. Sumaya, please.
Sorry, I'm a little bit short. Can you all hear me? Good morning, and thank you, Carlos, for the acknowledgement. With all protocols observed, I'd like to welcome our esteemed guests and thank the Fundamentum Group for the opportunity for ABSA to partner. My name is Sumaya Joshua. I'm the Managing Executive of the Commercial Property Finance Division of ABSA Bank, which is a division of the Corporate and Investment Bank. But I am not the first ABSA team member to address this audience. Some of you may recall that when you marked the anniversary of your one-year construction, our interim CEO, Charles Rosson, stood up and he shared some of his views on the project. And part of the words that he used was words like pride, words like impact, words like committed. And that's a testament to how we still view our partnership with the Fundamentum Group. So today, standing in the Westown Square, I am personally honored and privileged to have received an invitation to address you. ABSA remains very proud of our partnership with the Fundamentum Group. We have a lot of confidence in this precinct. We believe that the location of the development is perfect. It's nestled alongside the N3, and we see the transport and logistics corridor as a significant contributor to the KZN economy. So we remain excited in particular. I want to reflect on our partnership with the Fundamentum Group. We've certainly believed that we've built a relationship of trust and long-term trust. We've learned a couple of lessons through the process. We've dedicated a team of property specialists to partner our clients and manage the risk in delivery. And we've seen the fruits of delivery. As a property person, it's fascinating. It's always fascinating for me to see how the financial structures that we play with all day comes alive when we walk into developments of this scale. Our view on the outlook for this precinct remains confident. We think that this is absolutely the step in the right direction. The impact that Westown Square development has had and will continue to have on the community is a testament to the vision of the Fundamentum Property Group, and it does align well with our commitment to remain socially responsible as we continue to hold ourselves accountable to remain in lockstep with the communities that we serve and that we operate in. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the city for really being a partner in making this project come alive. I think this partnership with the city of eThekwini is a true testament and a real proof point of what can be executed when the public side and the private side really partner and collaborate together. I'm certainly excited to see more of this come to life as we continue to invest and develop our beloved country. To the ABSA team that's present here today, a huge thank you for your commitment and dedication. I think I've been immensely proud about just the hard work that you've put into it, and this is what that meant. So really well done, and a huge congratulations. And then lastly, to the Fundamentum Group, thank you for trusting ABSA, and long may that partnership last. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samaya. We will lobby you for a better rate next time. Seeing you like the place so much. Mr. Mayor, I think we're going to attack ABSA together the next time we borrow more money. Try and get a better rate from them. We're talking about partnerships. Another partner that I want to acknowledge has been Tonga Tulet. Tonga Tulet, to you guys sitting here today, thank you. Thank you for making this possible. Thank you to the business rescue guys who were at a challenge when the situation developed the way it did. You've been working with us, so thank you. We look forward to a very long-term relationship with you all in this precinct. I want to acknowledge now the contractors. So we've been very fortunate to have a wonderful relationship with Stefanuti Stocks. Last night we left here, there's one gentleman here that has slept 2 hours in the last 2 days. He's one of the heads up the civil side. Yesterday it rained all day and we're trying to lay asphalt, we're trying to mark roads. And it's been quite a challenge. And I can assure you, Thomas, that it's always appreciated. The speaker for Stefanuti Stocks, let me acknowledge an old bullet who's here called Howard Schwegman. Howard retired, he's a shareholder in Stefanuti Stocks. He has spent the last 2 weeks on site every day, 8 to 10 hours a day, with me, walking around, and his wisdom and experience has been invaluable to me. Howard, thank you for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, can I call Matthew up, please, to say a few words on behalf of Stefanuti Stocks. Thank you.
I'm a bit taller, so let me just sort this out. Good morning. I trust the audio is okay. Those in the back, give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Thanks, Carlos. Thank you. Thank you, Program Director. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to the dignitaries. All protocols observed. To some extent, Carlos has stolen the thunder out of my speech, rattling off some of the figures he did, but nonetheless, let me continue. Our mission statement is this. We're a multidisciplinary construction group delivering exceptional engineering solutions that enrich people's lives. I say these words today as there's no better example of these than why we are here today. Westown Square encompasses all the built environment disciplines, has taken many exceptions. There have been tremendous people development, and achievements. We've employed directly or indirectly more than 1,800 people, as Carlos mentioned, totaling more than 4 million man-hours to date. Through our partnership with the Westown Foundation, we established the Westown Training Center that offered accredited training for heavy earth-moving plant operators, as well as construction, hand tools, safety awareness, brickwork, plastering, painting, plumbing, basic concrete, reinforcing, and formwork. In this initial phase, 154 people from the local community were trained, and 47 of these were employed on the precinct. Many more have found employment in the industry on other projects within the city and across the province. We have also run socio-economic projects that assisted 35 number grade 11 and 12 learners with their science, English, and maths curriculum, with the aim of assisting them getting into tertiary education. We're very proud to say that all 35 of these learners passed their matric exams in 2024. We've committed to another 45 learners from grade 10 to 12 this year. Framing the Future was another initiative rolled out in 2023 and 2024 as part of our presence here. This involves screening more than 1,000 primary school learners, 128 of which having full eye examinations, resulting in 78 pairs of prescription spectacles being issued to these learners, many of which were the children of the workers involved on our site. The results are incredible and very heartwarming for us to have been a part of. This day has been a long time coming. For the development team, Carlos, certainly more than and longer than for us. However, I can remember the early discussions, kicking the dirt whilst walking through the rows of untouched sugarcane, the renders on the boardroom wall, the passion and the vision and the unstoppable will to succeed, the tough negotiations that followed, the relationships new and old that have made the difference when the times have been at their toughest. It's on this note and in closing that I'd like to name a few names. Firstly, to our late Derek played a vital role in getting construction underway on Westown, especially with making pivotal decisions that made it possible to cut the Westown Square ribbon today. To Carlos, Sean, and energy on inspiration. We are so privileged to have been given the opportunity to be a part of this amazing project from the very first spade being put in the ground to what you see here today. We wish you all the very best as your dream for Westown and the creation of value that it brings becomes a reality. Here's looking forward to this exciting future. To the community, for the understanding and patience afforded us in the construction process. We know it has been disruptive, but the worst is over, and before you are the benefits for you to enjoy. To the professionals, the subcontractors, suppliers, and of course to my guys at Stephanie Stocks. Brian, Thomas. Finally, the saying.
That means for the last 2 years, basically, we've been meeting every second Thursday. We've been meeting every second Thursday. The two young architects.
Just before, the highlight of was conceived by the architects, but the product was put together by an entire team of consultants and the main contractor. The landscape architects, Lucas and Ignace de Beer, have played a major part in this design because this development, as you'll see, is very unique, and the context and landscaping is very, very much part of this development. To the other consultants, structural, electrical, mechanical, wet services, all the other consultants that civil engineers that I might not have mentioned, a very big thank you. And to Stephanie Stocks, well done, guys. You pulled this one off. And lastly, before I get into the concept, we should be doing things. So myself from MDS Architecture,
we as consultants and professionals and architects, we prepare drawings. We have this concept in our minds. Our clients come to us, Fundamentum, and they say this is what we want to do. But what we have in our minds and the concepts we put down onto paper cannot come to reality and the space in which we sit today without someone to build it. I've had the privilege of working with Stephanie Stocks, I think, for the last 10 years, Matt. This is the third shopping center that I myself have done with them. That's why Matt has no hair. I'm losing mine. We're like two oxen in a field, and we kind of chafe one another's necks as we go. But at the end of the day, they're the ones that are responsible for producing what we see today. We place a lot of responsibility on them to create this. our drawings are nothing unless someone implements it. And so to Matt and the Stefanuti team, thank you for executing with excellence again. We ran this one really close. The weather didn't help, but well done on getting it over the line. So I think a congratulations to Stefanuti. I think from a conceptual point of view, what made this scheme particularly difficult is that we divorced ourselves from a conventional shopping center design, and that made it difficult to implement. We've got externally trading walkways, which made it really difficult for the weather. We tried to create this old town feel. And so I can tell you, like, you won't appreciate, but the bag wash finish that we have on the wall, that rough texture, I think it took us 2 months to get a sample approved. Our building contractors and subcontractors are used to creating these slick, smooth environments. We tried to pull that back, and so it took time for us to get it right. When you tell a contractor, please make it more rough than what you've done, they don't understand. And so, but we managed to do it. We worked together in getting it done. I think to the consulting team, consulting is an interesting thing as professionals. We speak to one another every day for 2-3 years. Chris, the structural engineer, him and I are in one another's DMs, if you want to call it, every single day for 2.5 years. And then you move on to another project. But those relationships stay because you're in the trenches together, you work hard together in order to envisage what we see here today. I think we must be honest with ourselves, though, and I think everyone, including Donald, would agree, that we are not the heroes sitting here. Matt from Stefanuti, ourselves as the consultants, not even the clients. Any of you that have walked a construction site in KZN or in South Africa understand the serious conditions that people have to work under. Whether it's the crazy heat, the dust on site when it's windy, the cold mornings in Shongweni, and there are guys who are digging trenches kilometers long. There are guys laying bricks, still now. There are guys laying pavers. Even this structure that we see around us, someone was tying rebar and steel in this floor. Someone was pouring the concrete. The guys that are actually building these structures are the heroes, not us. We sit on our boardrooms and we conceptualize and we look at fancy pictures on the screens, but while we are doing that, there are guys toiling in the conditions on a daily basis. And so I think we need to recognize them and give them praise. So let's give them a round of applause. So this is what's on the screen behind us. It's Westown Square. And I think Jane mentioned it. It's time for the West. So welcome to Westown Square and enjoy.
One last item, just before we finish. I'd also just like to thank Cara Riley. She's been a fundamental part of this whole process. And I think the fact that we've introduced art and local artists into this whole concept and working to put this all together to make it a community-based facility, I think it's quite outstanding. We worked very well together. And once again, thank you to everyone. This project, I think, is going to make waves in South Africa, and not just here, but the world. I think we've created something special. Thank you.
Very highly overpaid architects. Let me finish off. I think I'm done for the day. I'd like to just most probably do what we've been wanting to do for the last couple of years. And I'm going to call Sean and Don up, and then afterwards we're going to hand the microphone back to yourself, Chair. But they're coming up to do what is most probably the best thing we've done with this whole development. Sean, thank you, and to all of you, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and all protocol observed. I certainly won't go through all the dignitaries again, but it's super to have everybody here and joining us today. You know, the whole morning we've really been reflecting on what makes this a success, and foundationally we speak a lot about the success driven out of people and the combination of people and technology, are these coming together to create these platforms that we're in today. And it's the impact that we make on people's lives that, as Carlos already articulated and I've articulated over many previous engagements, that really creates the excitement and the passion of what we all do. And so this morning I got the privilege of being able to formalize what has been in the making for a number of years to date. And it makes me immensely proud to be able to realize that the impact that we make, not only in jobs and economic growth for people around in the community, which are things that can be experienced now, but most importantly is the long-term benefit that we're able to create for people. And part of many of our structures, in fact, all of our shopping centers and now high street retail environments, have we been able to partner with communities on a formalized basis and bring them into the equity structures that enable the community to benefit from long-term economic growth and long-term value. And so I'm privileged this morning to call up Nkosi Shozi. Nkosi is our local Nkosi representative of our community, and he is also representative of the Westown Community Trust in Westown Square, and he is representative of all the beneficiaries of the trust that will see direct economic benefit, long-term value that will be gained individually and collectively to uplift not only their lives and skills, but to formalize their partnership with us at Westown and formalize our long-term partnership as a community. And so, Nkosi, if you could come up and accept from our behalf your share certificate as partners in Westown Square. Please, can we give him a wonderful round of applause?
Thank you very much, Program Director. I would like to greet our Honorable Mayor of eThekwini and the Minister from the provincial government, Baba Mtombeni, and also our city manager from eThekwini municipality. And all protocol observed. I'm very, very glad for my people who were employed here to build this town. I can say it's a town, it's a beautiful town. And I hope it will proceed, because this is half of the job. The developers are still going to build some more development like housing, and his team for this development. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Colus. And I thank you, Program Director, with the opportunity who was given to me. Thank you.
Labezitha, Nkosi yesizwe, sibonga kakhulu ukusinika amazwi on behalf of isizwe. Let me start by making some changes in the program, because I can see there is a need to do some changes, because there are some programs that are around there. The first one, since we got the remarks from Inkosi Yesizwe We are going to get the remarks from councillors. We'll give them 1 minute. Councillor for Ward 7, then the councillor for Ward 103. Ozan Matot. Then after them, it will be the city manager, just to make some few remarks and introduce all the officials present here. Then on the main speaker, we'll have our MC, Usboniso Duma, from KwaZulu Natal. From Xolisa kakhulu Babu Duma. Done earlier on, I didn't acknowledge you. Bear with me, people that are writing for me, they've made a mistake. Then the vote of thanks would be done by the Deputy Chairperson of the committee, Councillor Phyllis Wendlof.
Thank you so much, Chair Kotite, Baba Mtombeni, Shwabate, Babundiema, Baba Kotite, Babu Mpele, Kosi Yesizwe, Babu Shows, Carlos, and the fundamental Babu Mkiz. Ngicela ukuthi ngingamshiyi ngaphandle ubaba uKhawunda bese ngithi all asibonge kakhulu ukuthola leli thuba namhlanje elingqayizivele ikakhulukazi kithi njengabantu ukuthola ithuba lokuthi sibe ingxenye yentuthuko enkulu kangaka eSouth Africa. Ikakhulukazi angifisi ukushiya ngaphandle ukuthi lentuthuko esikuyona ayilethanga amathuba omsebenzi kuphela. Isishiye nama skills ebantwini bakithi. Ngiyafisa kakhulu ukuthi nanoma ngabe yipi development ekhona kungabe ukuthi ukuthola imisebenzi kube kuphela kodwa kuqhubeke kakhulu ukuthi sikwazi ukuthola amathuba okuthi sibe nama skills sisale nawo. Ngifisa ukubonga kakhulu ke kini nonke, inkosi enibusise, ngiyabonga.
Sheila, revolutionary greetings to all of you comrades. I'm glad and proud to stand in this podium and address you. But I was wishing that we were the part to the employment and uplifting the people of this locality. But unfortunately, we never represented them because we were never given an opportunity. But I'm glad that the project at last has been successful. Anginawo amaningi yokuthi nje siyabonga.
Sorry ubaba uMbembe ngiyabingelela meya. Sesize sakukhohla. Thank you very much. And then ngibuye ngizobingelela Sean, Don, Carlos. I greet you. I also greet the Deputy Chairperson of Economic Development and Planning, Mamundlovu. I greet all the business stakeholders who are here, the contractors. I greet the councillors, the collective leadership of our city. And I want to also say protocol is indeed observed. Thank you very much for an opportunity given. I'm going to be very brief. To me, this is partly excitement and partly emotional. Projects of this nature to do so. In actual impact is even much bigger than we thought. In a sense that if you look at the value chain, the whole retail value chain, from the cradle to the grave, we have indeed contributed in creating a number of jobs that are going to improve the people's lives. So thank you very much to all who have been part of this, but I've been told to come here and acknowledge specifically the team. But before I do, I'm speaking now, borrowing from the town planning discipline. When we drew the lines on the map, how many years ago, Temba? 25, 30 years ago. On the future paper, we drew lines. We said, this is the Western Corridor, this is the node, this is the Bergsma brothers and Carlos to ensure that that reality comes